When I first put my name forward to run in 2019, there is things that you stand for and believe in. Things like putting Canada first, no matter what the circumstances. Things like ensuring that you are always going to put your country first when it comes to the deliberations in this place, when it comes to your actions.
That is a master class in class. Damien Kurek, Canadian patriot.
The honourable member for Battle River Crowfoot.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and it is an honour to rise in my place and deliver what will be my farewell speech in this Parliament. Now, Mr. Speaker, for now, as I offer my seat, I will, at the earliest opportunity, resign my seat to trigger a by-election. But let me start by first sharing a few thank yous. Mr. Speaker, it is an honor to serve in this place. Being elected for the third time to represent the people of Battle River Crowfoot truly is an honor, and for anyone who has had the opportunity to sit in this place, it truly is. Being able to serve your communities is something that is a profound honor and something that I hope each and every one of you, all 342 of you, take very, very seriously that responsibility. Mr. Speaker, it is, one never gets here by themselves. I am so thankful for a team that has supported me since I first put my name forward to run in a nomination in 2019, and for the 3 elections since, an incredible team. Grassroots conservative supporters that believe in common sense and believe in the things that we believe as a party, not simply because it's an election, but because that's the foundational things that they know our country needs and know what is best. Those are the grassroots people that I am so proud to call my teammates, and of course the team.
You know, it's like Damien Kurek is describing NP Nation. It really is, because he said it perfectly, and we've said it. We haven't been supporting the Conservatives. We haven't been supporting Pierre Poilievre because he's conservative. It's not the reason. We've been supporting the Conservatives because their platform, by and large, has made sense.
Well, and it's what's going to heal this country.
Right. Like, if it didn't make sense, we wouldn't be supporting it. So that's all there is to it. So when he says, you know, they're supporting us not because it's the party, but because they know it's the right thing. So very, very poignant for Mr. Kurek to say that. So I think that aptly requests reflects the grassroots movement, as he said, across the country, because these are not brilliant ideas. It's common sense. But common sense isn't that common anymore, as they say. And when it comes to Mark Carney and Justin Trudeau and the Liberal Party, there is no sense. Doesn't make any sense. The only thing that seems to make sense is, you know, them stealing the good parts of the Conservative platform. But, you know, they didn't go far enough. Anyway, well said by Damien Kurek there. We'll keep going.
And of course, the team that help us, our staff that do the hard work, that help make us look good, whether it's in this place or in the communities in which we serve. But Mr. Speaker, I have the deepest thank you that goes to a woman that's sitting in the front row, and I hope you give me latitude to acknowledge that here today, since it's my farewell speech.
So what he's talking about is that the members on the floor are not permitted to acknowledge anyone in the gallery. Only the speaker is permitted to acknowledge someone in the gallery.
So basically what he's saying is, Mr. Speaker, I hope you'll give me the benefit of, acknowledging one person in the gallery today.
That we can bend the rules since it's my final speech.
And I'm guessing we all know who that is, but I will let him say who it is.
But to my wife, Danielle, it's one person's name on the ballot and on the election sign. But sweetheart, it's a team sport. And for Danielle, I cannot thank you enough for the support and love through what has been a wild ride. And I know, Mr. Speaker, I didn't know it would be quite so much work to resign, but I know the work continues. And Mr. Speaker, for my boys who have not seen their dad as much over the last number of years, I certainly am looking forward to being able to spend some more time with Matthew, Emerson, and Winston, those three boys that Danielle and I are so very proud of. And Mr. Speaker, we get into politics for a reason. And when I first put my name forward to run in 2019, there is things that you stand for and believe in. Things like putting Canada first, no matter what the circumstances. Things like ensuring that you are always going to put your country first when it comes to the deliberations in this place, when it comes to your actions. And Mr. Speaker, that is why I am so proud to stand with Danielle and stand with my family and offer my seat, to offer to resign my seat to Pierre Poilievre, the leader of Canada's Conservatives, because that man, I truly believe, is the right man to lead this party, to be the leader of the opposition in this Parliament. And Mr. Speaker, my belief before and my belief remains today that Pierre Poilievre is the right man to be Prime Minister of Canada.
This guy is starting to choke me up.
I know. I think this is kind of a side that we don't really see from the politicians, is that their spouse is also on this journey with them, and then their children too. This was one of the reasons why Ryan had decided not to run, was because he would be leaving me and he would be leaving Vincent. And I think for the successful candidates who do become MPs, sometimes it's forgotten about that these people, not only are they making great sacrifice to be away from their families, but their families are also making great sacrifice too, because they're away from their dad, their mom, their husband, their wife, their brother or sister, whomever it might be to them, while they go and serve Canadians in Ottawa.
So it's and it just reflects, like, these are the type of people that the Conservatives are selecting as candidates. These are the type of people that they're selecting as MPs.
These are the types of people that the Conservative Party attracts. It's not just that these are the ones that the Conservatives are selecting. These are the people, these good, honest people that are attracted to the Conservative Party.
Well, and this is why we are supportive, again, of the Conservative platform, because the platform makes sense, but the politicians that we've been interacting with have integrity. And that's been missing from government for a long, long time.
It sure has.
And that is essential. Like, tear everything else away. That is the first requirement in order to build back trust from the Canadian people to a government.
You need good people to do good work.
And they need to be constantly reminded and constantly remind themselves that they are servant and not master. The people put them there. They didn't put themselves there. And they need to remember that they are there to represent people and not fill their pockets. So this is a very powerful speech so far, and I think we're just over halfway through it. So I'll try not to stop it unless there's something else significant.
And Mr. Speaker, I would ask the people who overwhelmingly put their trust in me in Battle River Crowfoot. I was honored to receive more than 80% of the vote. An incredible, I think, affirmation of not just myself, Mr. Speaker, because politics should never be about oneself, unlike what so many of the Liberals make it about. Politics needs to be about doing what's best for your country. So for the people of Battle River Crowfoot, you put your trust in me. I have a simple request to all of you. I would ask that you trust me as I ask you in this upcoming by-election to put your trust in Pierre Poilievre and elect him as the Member of Parliament for Battle River Crowfoot for the remainder of this Parliament, as he will fight for you in rural East Central Alberta, and as he fights to represent Canadians, the common sense vision that so many Canadians, in fact, many Canadians put their trust in for the first time in this election. More than 8 million Canadians voted Conservative in this last election. More than 41% of the population voted Conservative in the last election. So to the people of Battle River Crowfoot, you trusted me. I'm asking you to trust me once again as I ask you to support Pierre Poilievre as he runs in an upcoming by-election in Battle River Crowfoot. Mr. Speaker, our country faces significant challenges. Significant challenges that require real action and a real plan. We face a national unity crisis. It is not something that can simply be flippantly dismissed by those in other parts of the country that would suggest that Alberta, for example, should simply pay up and shut up. No, I'm sorry. That is not what Alberta should do. Alberta deserves a fair voice in the Federation, just like every province. I heard earlier as a new colleague from Newfoundland had a similar sentiment. I've heard the same thing as I've spoken with colleagues from every region of our country. There is challenges that our nation faces, and it deserves more than platitudes and a decade of the same failed ideology that got us into the disastrous position we find ourselves in now. And Mr. Speaker, as this is a debate on the throne speech, as I listened to the throne speech, it was an interesting mix of things because you had a co-opting of some of our ideas for political benefit, but at the very root of it, you see that the Liberals are simply the same old ideologues that we have seen for the last decade that have eroded trust in our institutions, that have held back our economy, that have shut down our resources, that have told Canadians that their voices, their freedoms, and who they are as people doesn't matter. So, Mr. Speaker, as I shared this decision, this offer a number of weeks ago, and as over the last number of weeks spoken with Canadians from coast to coast to coast about this, I see so clearly how the vision that Conservatives brought forward with leader Pierre Poilievre in the last election proposes the solutions that truly our country needs. And Mr. Speaker, as I stand here to offer my farewell address, I look to a Conservative team. In fact, I had said earlier that it's incredible. I look back to the class of 2019, and the class of 2025 is pretty incredible. There's a depth of talent in this team that we should and can be proud of. But Mr. Speaker, I know this team will do incredible things. And I look forward to being able to champion the cause from outside the House in the interim. And I do to my constituents, the many of whom who have asked whether or not this is me retiring from politics. And the simple answer is no, I don't plan to retire from politics. But I am stepping aside to ensure, thank you, to ensure that this by-election gets triggered. But, Mr. Speaker, as I conclude my remarks, I would simply say this, to conclude where I started, with a note of thanks, a note of reflection, and a note of humility. One is driven by things in one's life. There's things in their heart that drive them. You know, I think of my faith, the fact that Jesus is my Lord and Savior, the fact that there is foundational beliefs that were taught to me by my dad, my mom and family members, my grandparents, my grandpas who aren't with me any longer. That there is so much that we have to be proud of in this country. So, Mr. Speaker, as I conclude and as Danielle and I move on to what is a bit of an unexpected chapter of our lives, I would ask each and every person in this House, fight for Canada, fight for what's right, and do so boldly and strongly, because that's the least we can do for the people that send us here. Thank you.
I'd like to say that I had the pleasure of sitting on Environment Committee with the member, and he always displayed honesty and goodwill, and that didn't keep him from keeping the chair on his toes. As a matter of fact, it led him to make efforts to keep the chair on his toes.
Was the Speaker the chair at that time? Is that what he was talking about?
Most likely.
Okay.
Most likely. Notice how there was barely any Liberals there. So, which is not surprising. Not surprising, because Damien Kurek does intend to be back. You notice that he did say the term interim in the interim. He said it was actually beneficial because, you know, he does run a farm, and
he has a family farm, if I'm not mistaken. And
I think he had a video or a couple of pictures as he was in the tractor actually running his farm. So it's going to be beneficial for him to give his farm some attention, and I know, you know, so this isn't all bad news for him, and just pure class.
Absolutely.
Like, that is a master class in class, is what that was. For any of the other politicians, like, you know, it wasn't, well, you know, I was asked to leave, so I'm going to leave. It was as
it seemed like he was honored to give his writing to Pierre, quite frankly.
Yeah. And he saw it as a duty, because he was talking about serving Canada. He was talking about understanding that being a member of Parliament is bigger than yourself. And
it's to serve the country.
And I wish all of them in all the parties remembered that. Because if they did, we would have a much better government. What a display of integrity and class by Damien Kurek. You know, he must be now one of, if not the most respected people in the Conservative caucus at this point, because how can you follow that, right? How can you follow that? So we thank him for his sacrifice, both in office and now giving up his office, and we hope that in the next election, when he runs again in Battle River Crowfoot, that he easily secures his seat, and then, you know, the universe willing, when the Conservatives take power, he becomes a cabinet minister with a well-deserved portfolio. So thank you very much to Damien Kurek, and you are the type of example Canadians aspire to.